Welcome back, all you naughty bikers. Naughty Biker TV. Here we are at the Roadrunner. I'm going to take a short trip to the city of Glendale. I got a little shopping I got to do there. I'm going to take Janus along that route. I'm going to talk about 3 things I absolutely love about this motorcycle and 3 things I think that Janus could have done a better job at. So, if you're interested in learning that, come along with me to Glendale. Strap something exciting between your legs. I'll see you on the inside. Thanks for sticking around to find out more about this Halcyon 250 from Janus Motorcycle. Now, I only have about 300 miles plus in the saddle of this thing. In that short amount of time, though, I've definitely been able to have some first impressions of this particular motorcycle. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And first of all, I'd like to comment that the build quality really shows through. Janus wasn't just hyping their build quality and what they put into this motorcycle. The lines of the motorcycle are gorgeous. The hand painting on the fenders, the handmade leather of the Amish, and what's particularly exciting is this front end on this. From the hand-formed fenders down to this very unique front suspension. It's their proprietary dual progressive shock leading link forks for a front end. Now, leading link's been around for a while, as I've explained before, but it really is worth the hype. It's not hype, actually. This thing does not dive at all when I munch on that front brake, and I'm a front brake guy, and it's a very pleasing thought, very, very pleasing feeling. There's also a couple more examples of quality of design and attention to detail on the front of this bike. First are these little eyelets on the top of the leading link shock absorbers. They're for tie-down straps. Now, they're not a stock item on the bike, they're an add-on, but they're a cheap add-on. I would suggest that if you get this bike, that you have them put on, because having used them myself already, they really come in handy. Second are these handlebar risers and clamps. The material they're made of is top-notch, and the finish looks absolutely amazing. It's gorgeous. The second good impression on this motorcycle is that it's lightweight and simplicity of operation. It only weighs 263 pounds without gas in it, so it's not that much more after you fill it up. So you feel the road, you feel the ride. And let me tell you, it's an exciting ride. Of course, it's a motorcycle, so it's a manual transmission. It's 1 down and 4 up. Yes, people, that's 5 speeds. And for a modern motorcycle rider, sometimes it's a difficult thing to accept, because you're always constantly looking for that that 6th gear. So, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can feel when you need to make those shifts, and when you get on the top end, occasionally you start looking for 6th gear because you're not really sure, but if you really pay attention to how the bike feels in the ears or sounds, then you'll know you're in the top gear. Which leads me into my first bad impression of the motorcycle. And as I said, I'm not so sure this is the fault of the motorcycle, but the fault of the rider, meaning me. But it just seems to me I would like to have seen on this motorcycle a top-end gear indicator, so that you know when you look down there's a green light or red light or whatever light that lets you know that you are in the top gear. You're in 5th gear. I don't need all the other gears, but the top one would be nice, because there's been more than one occasion I went to go shift and already dead up there. I know that's probably more me, but it's just a short little niggle, as my friends in the UK call it. Just something I would have liked to have seen on a motorcycle. As for my second bad first impression, it would be that the bike is carbureted, which I wanted, but it's also very cold-blooded. It doesn't like to idle very well, so I normally have to nurse the throttle when it's first turned on. And even if you have it warmed up and you're going down the road for a while, it has a tendency to stall out sometimes if you don't watch your revs, which normally isn't a problem, but if you're on a busy roadway and it stalls out, this bike has a neutral safety switch on. which I don't like at all. I don't need a neutral safety switch. So if I can't find neutral, I've got to wheel it over the side of the road, or I'm a traffic hazard to get it started again, because you just can't pull in the clutch and engage the starter. That's not how this motorcycle is designed. So that's one thing that I will change. Maybe if I can bypass that neutral safety switch, I will. I don't know. But I've become somewhat accustomed to it now, so it's not as bad or not as big a deal. The third good impression and the third bad impression are rather married to one another. First and foremost, this little sub 250 single thumper motor, Honda clone, is not thirsty at all. It can ride and ride and ride because it's so light, and the revs are so beautiful that it really doesn't suck a whole lot of gas. So I've found that I can go about 90 miles max before I hit the reserve. And when I hit reserve, I got about a half a gallon left, so I'm factoring maybe 30, 40 more miles before I hit empty until I'm sucking air. So that's a pretty good range on the small gas tank, which is the third bad part of it. It's only a 1.94, I think, a 1.94 gallon tank. So it's small, but that's offset by the fact that this motorcycle does not eat much gas. So you can alleviate some of those fears by bringing a little fuel canister with you, which I intend to do when I ride this motorcycle back east, some 3,000 miles, which you're all going to be a part of, and we'll see how well it does. But just be prepared. You're going to have to make more stops at gas stations than what you would normally have to make. Which leads me into kind of a benefit or an extra added pro and con. First and foremost, when you make these gas stops, you're going to garner a lot of attention. People are going to want to come over. They're going to want to ask you about your bike. It happens every single time. Now me, I'm a kind of guy that doesn't mind talking about the bike, so I'm all for that. But if you're not a people person, you're probably not going to like that portion of the bike or that part of the bike. All I would say to you is, like, embrace it. People just want to talk motorcycles, man. And they particularly want to talk your unique motorcycle. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the good and the bad of what I feel about this and have experienced with this motorcycle. Haven't really covered the ugly part yet. And I'm going to save the ugly part for the very end of this video. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Stick around, because we got a lot more content coming back from Arizona. And I'll see you on the other side. Okay, naughty bikers, got our first drama with the bike. If you can see that, she's flat as a pancake. I don't know what it is. with me and flat rear tires, front tires as well. Bane of my existence. So, thank God I'm not too far from the house. Gonna grab the trailer and the Jeep, bring it back to the garage, and I'll change it up.